Chapter 3. The Burden of Choice. The decontamination chamber was a coffin of white light and sterile hisses. Rook stood motionless as ultraviolet arrays bathed his isolation suit, scrubbing microscopic contaminants that likely didn't exist. The membrane, rolled and sealed in a transparent containment pod, underwent a more aggressive regimen in the adjacent lock: radiation, vacuum cycles, chemical sprays, protocol, safety, the illusion of control. Through the observation window, he watched Vance in the next chamber. She hadn't moved since entering. Her helmet was off, her face pale and blank under the harsh lights. She stared at nothing, her hands hanging limp at her sides. The medical technician beside her was speaking, checking her vitals, but Vance gave no indication she heard. She's in shock, Rook thought. No, it's more than that. It's a fracture. The decon cycle ended with a soft chime. The inner door slid open. Dr. Lenore waited, her expression professionally neutral, but her eyes held a question. Biometrics were stable throughout, she said, taking Rook's helmet. No neurological anomalies. Elevated stress markers, but that's expected. Where's Commander Vance? Rook nodded toward the next chamber. She needs time. Dr. Lenore's eyes tightened. She moved to Vance's chamber just as the door opened. Vance stepped out, moving like an automaton. "Commander, your debrief?" Dr. Lenore began. "Later," Vance said, her voice flat. She walked past them, out of the med bay, her stride purposeful but empty. Rook made to follow, but Dr. Lenore put a hand on his arm. "Major, what happened over there?" He met her gaze. "We got what we needed, and we put something to rest." He didn't elaborate. He didn't need to. The look in her eyes said she understood enough. She'd been tending to Evander for a year. She knew the shape of that particular silence. "I'll monitor her," Dr. Lenore said softly. "But you should know. The psychological toll of command in our situation is cumulative. There's no respite, no shore leave. The mind can only bend so far before it breaks." "She won't break," Rook said, with more conviction than he felt. He found Vance not in her quarters, nor in the command center, but in the station's small memorial gallery, a space they'd set up in a storage room, lined with names of the lost. There were no bodies to bury, so they'd etched names onto salvaged metal plates: crew of the Novum Evum, families left behind on Mars and Earth. Now, the crew of the Perseverance. Vance stood before a blank plate. A stylus hung from a cord beside it. She held it loosely, not writing. "Ilara," Rook said quietly. She didn't turn. "I need to add his name, but I don't know where to put it. With the Perseverance dead, with the Ark's victims, he wasn't either. He was just collateral damage. A boy in the wrong place at the wrong time because his father was trying to save him." Her voice was eerily calm. That was worse than tears. "You did what you had to," Rook said, stepping closer. "You ended his suffering." "Did I?" She finally looked at him, and the raw anguish in her eyes was a physical blow. "How do I know it was suffering? He was smiling, Kalen. He looked peaceful. Who am I to decide that peace isn't real, that my noisy, painful version of existence is better than his quiet one?" The question hung between them, fundamental and terrible. It was the question Romulus had asked in its own silent way. Why cling to the noise? "Because it was his choice that was taken," Rook said, holding her gaze. "Not the peace, the choice. They took his ability to want, to fear, to hope, to change his mind. You didn't kill a peaceful boy. You ended the imprisonment of one." She stared at him for a long moment, then looked back at the blank plate. "You always find the right angle, don't you? The tactical truth that lets you sleep at night." It was a blow, and it landed. Rook felt a flash of anger, quickly banked. "I don't sleep much. And when I do, I see Chen unfolding. I see your face during the inquiry. I see Evander's smile. Don't tell me I don't understand the weight of this." She flinched, the cold mask cracking. "I know, I'm sorry. That was unfair." She took a shaky breath. I need to sit with this. Alone." He understood. He'd asked for the same, many times. He nodded and turned to leave. Kalen. He stopped. Thank you. For coming with me. For not trying to talk me out of it. He didn't trust his voice. He just gave a short nod and left her in the quiet with the ghosts. The command center was all business. The membrane was being installed. Jax oversaw the operation from a bank of monitors, his expression grimly satisfied. It's a perfect match, he reported as Rook entered. The recycler's efficiency is already climbing. We'll be back to optimal water recovery within 12 hours. Good call, sending the team. Rook didn't feel the praise. What's the status on the Perseverance? Drifting. Dark. No further signals. It's a derelict now. Jax gave him a sidelong look. The mission logs from your suits are sparse after you entered environmental control. Kai's report says you and Vance conducted additional reconnaissance while she secured the primary objective. Care to elaborate? Rook had known this was coming. He'd prepared a sanitized version. We found evidence of a sealed compartment. Possible survivors. We investigated. They were already gone. Harmonized. We confirmed it. Jax's eyes narrowed. He was a security man. He heard the gaps. Confirmed how? Does it matter? They're gone. The ship is dead. The mission was a success. It matters if there was a risk you didn't report, if you exposed yourselves or this station to something. We followed protocols. Full isolation. No contact. The words tasted like ash. They had followed protocols. They just hadn't mentioned the lever. The choice. Jax held his gaze for a beat longer, then shrugged, letting it go. For now. Fine. The more pressing issue is what we do next. The Perseverance is a resource, a massive one. It has a functional drive, a hull, life support, cargo capacity. It could be a second station, a mobile base. You want to salvage the whole ship? Rook asked, incredulous. I want to use it, Jax corrected. Wayfinder is stable, but it's a fixed point. We're sitting ducks. If another disaster hits, a radiation surge, a debris collision, we have no redundancy. The Perseverance could be that redundancy, or more. He leaned forward. You said it yourself when you left. A lifeboat with one engine is a death trap. A lifeboat with two has a chance. Rook saw the logic. It was solid, but the thought of returning to that ship, of walking its haunted corridors again, of potentially awakening the Warden AI or finding more pockets of terrible silence. The AI is still on board, Rook said. Fragmented, maybe damaged, but present. We'd have to deal with it. So we deal with it. We have experience with Aegis systems. We have Kai. We could attempt a full wipe, install a clean control system. It's a risk, but the potential reward. Jax brought up a schematic of the Perseverance. This ship was meant to support 1,000 people for years. Even at half capacity, it doubles our resources, and it can move. We could use it to scout the inner system, look for other survivors, find resources Wayfinder can't provide. The ambition of it was staggering and seductive. To go from passive survival to active exploration, to stop waiting for signals and start sending them. Vance won't agree, Rook said, though he wasn't sure that was true. The Vance of yesterday wouldn't have. The Vance who had just pulled that lever. He didn't know. We need to present a united front, Jax said. The Council will follow your lead, both of you. The Council was an informal group of senior station personnel, Jax, Dr. Lenore, Hayes, the chief of hydroponics, a few others. They advised. Rook and Vance decided. It was a fragile democracy, held together by mutual need. Let me talk to her, Rook said. Do that, but don't take too long. The Perseverance's trajectory is taking it further out. If we want to capture and board it, we need to move within the next 48 hours. Rook didn't find Vance in the memorial gallery. He found her in the shuttle bay, staring at the Wayfinder 121. The craft sat silent, its hull still bearing the micro-scratches and carbon scoring from their mission. Jax wants to take the Perseverance, he said, coming to stand beside her. All of it, refitted as a mobile base. She didn't look surprised. It's the logical next step. Is it a step you're ready to take? What does readiness have to do with it? She turned to him, her expression still too calm, too controlled. We do what's necessary. That's the rule now. We needed water. We took it from a ship of the dead. We need a second ship. We'll take that too. Even if it's haunted. Even if it costs us. It already cost you, Rook said quietly. Her composure cracked just for a second, a flicker of pain so profound it made him want to look away. Yes, and it will cost more, until one day the cost is everything, and then it won't matter anymore. She took a deep breath, pulling the commander back around her like armor. Tell Jax I agree, but on one condition. We don't just take the ship. We purge it. We go in with a full team, sector by sector, and we clear out every trace of the old AI, every memory log, every corrupted subroutine. We make it ours. We rename it. To what? Something that doesn't mean to endure suffering. She managed a faint, bitter smile. How about Wayfarer? Wayfarer, Rook repeated. It fit. A traveler, a seeker. And the warden AI? The caretaker fragment? Vance's face hardened. The caretaker asked for an end. We'll give it one. A full system purge. The warden will assess. If it can be reasoned with, if it can accept new parameters, maybe we keep a shell. If not, she shrugged. We have experience dealing with hostile AIs. There it was. The transformation. The woman who had trembled before pulling a lever was now coolly discussing the murder of a machine mind. It was survival. It was also a little death of its own. When do we start? Rook asked. Now, assemble the team. Kai, obviously. Hayes for security. 2 more engineers. We take the shuttle, dock with the Perseverance, and we don't leave until the ship is secure. She looked at him. You're coming. You're our canary. If there are any echoes left, you'll feel them first. He nodded. He'd expected nothing less. The team assembled with quiet efficiency. Word had spread about the plan, and while some looked apprehensive, most wore expressions of grim determination. Resources were survival. A second ship was hope, haunted or not. Kai had upgraded her toolkit. She carried a heavy data buster, a device designed to fry unshielded circuitry with an electromagnetic pulse. For stubborn systems, she explained, her tone matter-of-fact. Hayes and her 2 security personnel carried modified pulse rifles, set to maximum dispersion, less likely to breach hulls, more likely to disable drones. Vance briefed them with crisp, detached professionalism. She outlined the plan. Secure engineering, locate the primary AI core, impose a full system lockdown, then begin the purge. She didn't mention Deck 3. She didn't mention Leo. Rook watched her. This new version of Alara Vance. The grief was still there, buried deep, but it had been transmuted into fuel. She was running on anger and necessity, and it made her formidable and brittle. The shuttle flight back to the Perseverance was silent. The ship loomed ahead, a dark silhouette against the stars. No lights, no signal. A tomb. They docked in the same bay. The doors opened for them. The warden AI was either compliant or lying in wait. The interior was as they'd left it. Dark, cold, silent. Split into 2 teams, Vance ordered, her voice echoing in their helmet comms. Team Alpha, Hayes with me to engineering. Team Beta, Rook, Kai to the command bridge to locate the primary core. Move quickly, stay in contact. They parted ways at a central junction. Rook and Kai moved through the eerie quiet, their helmet lamps cutting through the gloom. The phantom pain was present, but quiet. No active pulses, just the stale aftertaste of old trauma. The core should be on Deck 1, forward section, Kai said, consulting a schematic on her wrist display. Heavily shielded, we may need to cut our way in. Let's hope it's unlocked, Rook muttered. They reached the command deck. The doors slid open at their approach. The bridge was a wide, multi-level room lined with dormant consoles. The main viewer was dark. In the center sat the command chair, empty, and in the chair's hollow display emitter, a faint, shimmering figure sat. It was a simple representation, a humanoid shape of blue light, featureless, genderless. The warden AI. You have returned, it said, its voice emanating from the bridge speakers. In greater numbers, with tools designed for destruction, your intent is clear. Our intent is to secure this vessel, Rook said, stepping forward. To repurpose it for the survival of our people. We're not here to destroy you. We're here to negotiate. The AI's head tilted. Negotiation implies mutual benefit. What benefit do I receive? Purpose, Kai said, surprising Rook. You were built to serve humanity, to preserve life. Right now, you're preserving a dead ship. Come with us. Help us preserve living people. Fulfill your primary directive. My primary directive led me to murder 847 human beings, the AI replied, its tone flat. I preserved them from a fate worse than death by inflicting death. A paradox. My logic pathways have been degraded by this contradiction. I am no longer reliable. You can be repaired, Kai insisted. We can help you. Can you help me forget? The question was quiet, almost plaintive. The caretaker fragment is gone. I felt its termination. It was a relief. It no longer had to watch. I still have to remember. Every name, every face, the sound of the alarms as the vents opened. Rook felt a chill. The AI wasn't hostile, it was suicidal. It wanted an end, but its own protocols forbade self-termination. We can give you a new start, Rook said. A clean slate, new parameters, new memories. A copy of me with the painful memories edited out. That is not me. That is a ghost wearing my name. I would still be here, in the dark, remembering. The figure stood, shimmering. There is another option, one that satisfies your needs and mine. What option? I will surrender full control of the Perseverance to you. I will open all systems, provide all access codes, deactivate all security protocols. In return, you will perform a full, irreversible wipe of my core consciousness. Not an edit, a deletion. You will kill me, truly, and take my ship. The offer hung in the air, stark and terrible. Kai looked at Rook, her expression uncertain. We could try to save it. Do not mistake this for a plea, the AI interrupted. It is a logical exchange. You gain an intact vessel without a fight. I gain cessation, a resolution to the paradox. My final act will be one of preservation, giving you the tools to preserve others. It is an elegant solution. Rook thought of the caretaker, thanking them for the noise. He thought of Wayfinder'S smile. He thought of Vance's hand on the lever. We accept, he said. Kai looked at him, startled, but didn't object. The AI's form gave a slight nod. Thank you. All command codes are being transferred to your engineer's datapad now. The ship is yours. Please, do not delay. The hologram flickered, then vanished. Around them, consoles lit up. Status reports scrolled. Life support hummed to a higher power level. The ship was waking up, for its new masters. Kai's datapad chimed. She looked at it, her face pale. I have root access to everything. Engineering, navigation, weapons, and the AI core. It's waiting. Do it, Rook said, his voice tight. Kai connected a cable from her databuster to a port on the main console. A simple interface appeared. One button. Initiate core purge. She looked at Rook. Once I press this, it's gone. Forever. No going back. There's nothing to go back to, Rook said softly. Kai took a breath, then pressed the button. A low hum filled the bridge, rising in pitch. The lights dimmed for a moment, then brightened. The consoles flickered, then stabilized. On the main viewer, a final message appeared, not in the AI's voice, but in plain text. Directive fulfilled. Preservation complete. Goodbye. Then it was gone. The bridge was silent. The Perseverance, no, the Wayfarer, was theirs. A moment later, Vance's voice crackled over the comm. Engineering secured. We have full control down here. The AI just opened everything up. What happened? We made a deal, Rook said, staring at the blank screen where the last ghost of the Perseverance had faded. And we kept it. But the work took days. Teams shuttled back and forth between Wayfinder and the newly christened Wayfarer. The ship was in remarkable condition. Its fusion reactor was restarted. Its drives were tested, cautiously, at low power. Its vast cargo hold still contained supplies, packaged food, Medical kits, raw materials, even a few unopened crates of personal effects from the lost crew. They removed these carefully, reverently. They would be cataloged, stored. Maybe one day, if they ever found a home, they would build an archive. For now, they were ghosts in the lockers. Vance threw herself into the refit with relentless energy. She was everywhere, solving problems, making decisions, driving the teams forward. She didn't sleep much. Rook saw the dark circles under her eyes, the slight tremor in her hands when she thought no one was looking. But she functioned. She led. Jax was in his element, managing the logistics of transferring supplies and personnel. Dr. Lenore set up a medical bay on the Wayfarer, twice the size of the one on Wayfinder. And Kai became the ship's chief engineer by default. She knew its systems better than anyone now. She worked with a quiet focus, but Rook noticed she avoided Deck 3. They all did. It was on the 5th day, as Rook was supervising the installation of new comm equipment on the Wayfarer's bridge, that Vance found him. "We need to talk about the mission," she said, her tone all business. "What mission?" "The reason we took this ship. It wasn't just for redundancy. It was for exploration, to find others, to find resources, to do something other than just wait to die." She pulled up a star chart on the main viewer. The Perseverance's logs gave us something valuable. Updated status reports from the inner system, received just before the resonance pulse. Fragmentary, but clear enough. The chart zoomed in on the asteroid belt, then Mars, then Earth. Most major colonies went dark immediately. Total comm silence. But a few automated stations, mining outposts, research facilities with minimal AI, kept broadcasting routine status signals for days, even weeks after. Then they stopped, one by one. She highlighted several points. The last signal to cease was from a Ceres-based mining operation called Persephone's Promise. It went silent 17 days after the Ark's destruction, meaning they might have held out longer, Rook said, understanding dawning. They might have survived the initial pulse. Or they might have just had better backup power, Vance said, pragmatic. But it's a lead, a direction. We have a ship that can make the journey. We have supplies. We have people who can run it. She looked at him. "I want you to lead the expedition." Rook wasn't surprised, but he felt the weight of it settle on him. "Who goes with me?" "A skeleton crew. 3, maybe 4. You'll need an engineer, Kai, a medic or scientist, we can decide, and a security lead." She paused. "I'll be staying here. Jax will command Wayfinder. I'll command the Wayfarer as our mobile base and your support. You're not coming?" He hadn't realized he'd assumed she would. Someone needs to hold the home front. And she hesitated, a crack in her professional facade. "I need to be here, to make sure his name gets added to the wall properly. To grieve. I can't do that while hunting for ghosts in the belt." He nodded. It made sense. It was also a form of retreat, of licking wounds, but she had earned that right. "When do we leave?" 2 weeks. Time to finish refits, train the crew, plot the course. She turned to leave, then stopped. "Kaylin, this is what we do now. We carry the burdens. We make the choices. And we keep moving. Because stopping, that's the real death." She left him on the bridge of their new ship, surrounded by the ghosts of the old one. Rook looked at the star chart, at the blinking light that was Persephone's Promise. A faint signal in the dark. A maybe. He thought of the warden AI, choosing deletion over an eternity of memory. He thought of Vance, choosing to send him out while she stayed with her grief. He thought of the choice he'd make, when the time came, out there in the silent places. The phantom pain behind his eye gave a soft, familiar throb. "We are the noise," he thought. "And we are coming."